It'll be presented.
A lot of it was, yes.
They're coming in hot. See you tomorrow.
Open up claims damages. You can explain it. I will then say.
Yeah, is he gonna come tomorrow?
And I can say that.
Okay. Then I'll say. Then I'll talk.
Yeah. No, I think it'll be fine. It's fine.
Okay, well, let's get started. It's 5 o'clock. I'll call to order the Village Board of Oregon meeting for Monday, January 5th, 2026. Ask the clerk to call a roll, please.
Higgins.
Here.
Kirchdorfer.
Here.
Marks.
Here.
McDaniel. Here. Peterson.
Here.
And Van Kampen.
Yeah, here, thank you.
And Knipfer is absent this evening.
All right, thank you. Approval of the December 15th, 2025 Village Board meeting minutes, if correct, and corrections and mistakes, if any. Higgins and Kirchdorfer. Corrections, comments, changes. Hearing none. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Public appearances, comments, and communications, items for discussion and or possible action. A, oath of office and swearing in of police officers Sherby Garfol and Duncan Schultz. Go ahead, Chief.
Yes, thank you. Just gonna quick, here real quick. It is my privilege to introduce the newest members of our police department, individuals who have chosen a profession that demands integrity, courage, and a deep commitment to public service. Welcoming new officers is always a meaningful moment for our village because it represents not only growth within our department, but also our continued investment in the safety and well-being of our residents. Tonight, we welcome Officer Duncan Schultz and Officer Shelby Garfold, who join us after completing rigorous training and demonstrating the professionalism and character we expect from those who wear this badge. Each of them brings unique strengths, experiences, and perspectives that will enrich our department and strengthen our connection with the community. Just to talk briefly about each one of them, Duncan was born in Madison, Wisconsin, raised in Barneveld, Wisconsin, and currently lives in Fitchburg. He enjoys snowboarding, snowmobiling, and longboarding. He attended Madison Area Technical College, where he graduated with an associate's degree in criminal justice. We snagged him from the University of Wisconsin-Madison. He was a security officer and was assigned to a specialty role in the athletics detail. One of the first questions we ask in the interview process, as far as the command staff level when we conduct our interviews, is obviously, why Oregon Police Department? Duncan shared with us that he actually learned about our police department through the recruitment video that Sergeant Colson, you want to raise your hand? Yes. Our celebrity here. He learned about who we are, what we do, and how we are strongly connected to our community, and felt that this was a good fit for him. Shelby was born in Arlington Heights, Illinois. She attended high school in Woodstock High School in Illinois, attended college at McHenry College, where she graduated with an associate's degree in arts. She moved to Arizona, and while she was in Arizona, she attended, I'm going to say this wrong, Cohese? Not even close. Cochise, thank you. College at Sierra Vista, and obtained an associate's degree in administrative of justice. We picked her up from Walworth County Sheriff's Office, where she was a corrections officer. Before that, she was with, say it again for me, would you? Cochise. County Sheriff's Office as a detention officer. And prior to that, she worked for the state of Arizona prison complex with the corrections department. So Again, that first question, why Oregon Police Department? She actually knows one of our current officers, Anna Roque, who she worked with at the Walworth County Sheriff's Office. And after Anna had joined our department, she reached out and they talked, Shelby and her, and Anna shared that she really enjoys the Oregon Police Department and appreciated the investment that the community put into her and her career. In learning more about us, Shelby said she felt that this was just a great place to work and felt this was a good fit for her. Both of them recently completed the Police Recruit Academy, which is very rigorous, as I said before. It's very pass-fail, constant testing, and it was one of the things I enjoyed most in my career, so it was fun to watch them go through. And they graduated from Black Hawk Tech's Academy, and now they are currently in field training. As they begin their service here, they step into a role that is about far more than enforcing law. It is about building trust, listening with empathy, and working collaboratively with residents, businesses, and village leadership. It's about being present, not just in moments of crisis, but in the everyday interactions that shape how people feel about their community. To our new officers, we are proud to have you here. You are joining a department that values accountability, teamwork, and continuous learning. You will have the support of your fellow officers, our command staff, and this board as you grow in your careers. We trust that you will serve with professionalism, fairness, and respect. All right, so I will have Duncan come up first.
Yeah, sometimes those work better than the, yeah, do you just want to each can grab one of those? I just changed them.
All right, if you want to face me. Okay, and raise your right hand. And you can let me say it and then you can repeat it.
Okay.
All right. I, Duncan J. Schultz, do solemnly swear that I will support and comply with the Constitution of the United States of America,
I, Duncan J. Schultz, do solemnly swear that I will support and comply with the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Wisconsin, the Charter, laws, and ordinances of the Village of Oregon,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Wisconsin, the Charter, laws, and ordinances of the Village of Oregon,
the rules and regulations of the Village of Oregon Police Department,
the rules and regulations of the Village of Oregon Police Department,
and the Law Enforcement Code of Ethics,
and the Law Enforcement Code of Ethics,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of my office as a sworn officer of the Oregon Police Department.
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of my office as a sworn officer of the Oregon Police Department.
I will assume my duties as of August 6, 2025.
I will assume my duties as of August 6, 2025.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Excited to be here. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. Welcome to you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thankfully, you don't have to say that college's name anymore. Go Cheese. All right, now repeat after me. Raise your right hand. I, Shelby N. Garofal, do solemnly swear that I will support and comply with the Constitution of the United States of America,
I, Shelby Ann Garofal, do solemnly swear that I will support and comply with the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Wisconsin,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Wisconsin,
the Charter, laws, and ordinances of the Village of Oregon,
the Charter, laws, and ordinances of the Village of Oregon,
the rules and regulations of the Village of Oregon Police Department,
the rules and regulations of the Village of Oregon Police Department,
and the Law Enforcement Code of Ethics,
and the Law Enforcement Code of Ethics,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of my office as a sworn officer of the Oregon Police Department.
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of my office as a sworn law enforcement of the Oregon Police Department.
I will assume my duties as of August 6, 2025.
I will assume my duties as of August 6th, 2025.
Thanks for coming.
And there goes our audience.
Thanks for supporting the new officers.
Count on Clarice.
They don't even want to stick around for public.
4B, public comment. This part of the agenda allows members of the public to provide information to the village board, including items both on and off the agenda. 15 minutes will be provided for this item with a 3-minute maximum per speaker. Public comments? No? Okay, hearing none. Thank you. Item 5, approval of vouchers in the amount of $1,922,930.41. Staff recommendation, motion to approve. We have a motion by Kirchhofer, second by Marks. Tom?
Just one question and just a clarification. It's on page 13 of the packet, item 3413, Habitat for Humanity. Just, I was uncertain what that was, $38,000. A CDBG.
Yeah, that's the remaining portion for the grant. We've been acting as a pass-through for the CDBG grant that they've been receiving. So the funds are dispersed here, and then we have to turn around and issue them a check.
Thank you.
Well done.
On page 19, item 14626, there's actually two, parks weather software, snow, ice weather software.
Yes, so that is ours. That is specialized weather software. It does get a little bit more granular geographically, and it also extends out longer. So our parks team uses it for irrigation, and our snow and ice team uses it, of course, to plan out in advance how we're going to staff those events. Okay.
Anybody else? Okay, this is a roll call vote. We have a motion by Kirchhofer, second by Marks.
McDaniel,
Yes.
Van Campen,
Yes.
Kirchdorfer,
Yes.
Higgins,
Yes.
Marks,
Yes.
and Peterson.
Yes.
Thank you. Item 6, consent agenda. Staff recommendation, motion to approve the consent agenda item as presented. Just one tonight. Motion by Higgins, second by Peterson. Questions? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 7, reports of committees. Items and are for discussion and or possible action. A, Ad hoc Public Transportation Committee. 1 second amendment to the State of Wisconsin Department of Transportation 2023 Planning Grant Agreement, extending the completion deadline for the transportation feasibility study to December 31st, 2026. Comments, questions, motions? Tom?
I'll make a motion.
Okay. Second by Peterson. Comments? I wouldn't support renewing the grant for a couple of reasons. One is any grant that we accept calls for staff time to administer that. Perhaps more importantly, I believe the results of any such study would call for a village financial commitment to fulfill whatever the grant was recommending. And with the current state of village budgets. I think we will get the results from the grant, and then we'll be left, we really can't act upon it because we don't have the funds to do so. So I would not be supporting this motion. Go ahead, Amanda.
Yeah, so in contrast, I do support this motion. We have been struggling to get committee members, and now we have a new member, so we're up to 4 again. And my plan was to double down this year and just to, like, we're gonna meet and we need you there and you signed up for this and, we're gonna do it. And there is an ending deadline, like we can't extend it indefinitely. We have to get it done this coming year. And so this is the time when, do or die. So I was gonna double down and get this taken care of. And then we have the report. And then, yes, Phil is correct that the village could choose to act on it or choose to shelve it until such time that we have more money in our budget to work with it if money is required. There may be instances where money is not required. It might be a case of the transportation report is that, we have to, we want a private entity to come in and administer it. And so it might be as simple as just the village acting as a pass-through for any grant funding kind of thing. And yes, there would be some staff time associated with that, but it would be a private entity coming into it to take care of it, right? So we don't know the extent of the cost until we do something like this. So, I think it's better to just do it now. We have the grant, for this. Do the study, and then the board can choose what they want to do once we have that in hand. But we really don't know what that's going to look like yet. So I don't want to stop it prematurely. So that's where I stand.
Tom?
I guess it just make a query to how much staff time do we think this will take in 2025? Is this an onerous kind of project? Is this something that's relatively light as far as staff time? I mean, there's a range of need within that, so I don't have that feel from this information.
I mean, Elise and I have gotten together to do some extensions and things, and I mean, I don't know, you should probably better answer this, but I don't think it's been a ton of time.
Yeah, I imagine most of the work to take place through 2026 would be mostly the committee working on the RFP that has to get approved through the state, DOT kind of grant officer, and then once the consultant's on board, I would imagine some staff time, but I've been helping more with the reporting and kind of just communication with the state. So, I mean, I would say at this point it's maybe been an hour or 2 a month, if that. So not a whole lot of time, probably a little bit more in 26 as we get things rolling though.
Yeah. And we have a draft already of an RFP that would just need to be tweaked. So the hard part of that is mostly complete.
Did you have anything to add, Martin?
Nope, I think
Okay.
Elise covered it.
Okay, then,
Quick question. Obviously, we don't know this for sure, but based on your expertise and experience, if we shelved this study, let's say for 5 years, is that study still relevant? How long of a span of time do we have with the results of whatever the study would be to use it in that form?
I think it depends on what the recommendations are. I mean, if they're recommending something that's contingent upon a federal grant or a state grant that's currently available, it might not be available in 5 years.
Okay.
I think there certainly could be some ideas or things that are put in there that are more evergreen, that, maybe you can pick off a shelf and, you might need to do a little bit of legwork to get yourself back on track, but they may be things that we can just take off the shelf. But it's really going to depend on what are these recommendations. Are they time bound, or are they things that are easily take offable of the shelf?
Sure. Thank you.
We just don't know enough right now.
Okay.
yeah, go ahead.
one of the things that we can ask in an RFP or, the whatever company is selected to do this work is to give us some phases so that we can enact it a little bit at a time if we choose. And that might give us options like Martin was just talking about. So we really don't know until we do something. It might be something very simple that requires very little money, and it might be more complicated, depending on how deep we want to go.
Additional comments, questions? Tim?
I guess I'm just curious what the demand is within the community. It seemed like when we first started talking about this, there was a lot of chatter of people interested, and a lot of it was in response to the library moving west. I don't know that I hear much about it since then, and I'm questioning what kind of legs this idea has within the community. We've done some things to help seniors get around, get to shopping and to the senior center. And I know that the school buses run to the library from time to time with some different programs. And I feel like those were the two main constituencies that we were looking to serve with some sort of public transportation program. Do we really feel like the need is enough that we should be investing staff resources and staff money, because we have to pay for 20% of this? I mean, can you make the case for why we should spend the money and the staff time on something that seems kind of like maybe the community isn't that into it, or do you disagree with me on that point?
Well, that was the point of the survey that we did in 2022, 2023, one of those years. It's in the timeline. I just don't have it off the top of my head. We did survey the community, and we took that to the was it DOT? No, it was Greater Madison Metropolitan Planning Organization, and that was Ben Lyman. And he came to the board and he did the slides and the presentation and helped us interpret the data, because we didn't know if that was enough community response that people wanted this. And he said, no, these are good numbers. He's done this in other communities, and he said there was enough demand to proceed with a grant like this. That was his professional opinion.
Rick?
I guess I would have a question about how does this relate to bus rapid transit and possibility of being able to connect with the city of Madison? Does this have any relevance to that?
Yes, and that is one of the things that this study, we're asking them specifically to look at, is interconnectivity with Madison Metro. I don't know that it would be the rapid transit. I just know that one of the things we'd like to do is connect up with the Metro so that people can get to and from Madison for medical appointments or whatever they might need, in Madison. That's a service. We also have about $500,000 in an account with the DOT, or maybe it's Greater Madison Metropolitan Planning Organization. I'm not sure which, but there's a pot of money for things that are immovable. So it wouldn't be something we could use to pay for a shuttle or something like that, but it would be enough to pay for a park and ride or bus shelters at stops or whatever needs to be done in that respect. So we have some infrastructure money, capital funds to work with also.
Anybody else? Okay, we have a motion by Kirchhofer, second by Peterson. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No?
I'm going to abstain.
Okay.
Sure.
So we got one abstention
One
and one.
abstention,
Okay,
one no.
so we still pass.
Yep. Motion passes. Thank you. Item 8, unfinished business, items for discussion and or possible action. A, right-of-way negotiating contract with Group of Consulting LLC for real estate acquisition services related to the county MM Wolf Street project for a total lump sum of $20,100. Staff recommendation, motion to approve. Peterson and Higgins. Questions, comments? Hearing none. Motion by Peterson, second by Higgins. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. 8B, purchase of a 2026 Western Star 47X dump truck chassis from I-State Trucking for a cost of not to exceed $160,000, utilizing surplus capital funds. Staff recommendation, motion to approve. Higgins and Peterson, questions on this? McDaniel.
So this is a little bit of a question, a little bit more of a comment. This triggered something in my memory about a couple of years ago. We had tried to order a chassis dump truck, something or other, from, I believe it was Lakeside International. And Western sort of helped us get it faster because we were sort of stuck in limbo. Are we sort of switching over more to Western now based on that relationship and the way that they were able to sort of help us out on this?
I think it's a little bit of that and a little bit of, frankly, the staff really, really likes the Western Star vehicle that they purchased.
Oh, good.
And so there's just a real positive feeling about moving forward with that infrastructure.
Okay, great. Good to know. Thank you.
Anybody else? Tom?
I just noted that the funding for this is coming from previously approved surplus funding from other, would that actually reduce then our funding borrowing needs in 2026? Or would we have to replace that surplus somehow?
We'll see. Right now, we have the cash to pay for it, or at least to put it on order. Typically, what happens at this point of the year is we do sort of the unofficial year end. Where did we fall on everything? And then once we get a sense of that here in the next 60 days or so, that's when we start evaluating, okay, what is our debt plan for this year? And then we get into March and April, and then we solidify the debt. So we may look at our final year-end numbers and say, you know what, this makes sense just to use the cash for this, and let's go with that. Or we might look at it and say, you know what, we should actually borrow it and reimburse ourselves for the cash that we spent. So it's just going to depend on where all those numbers fall.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Tim?
Yeah, I want to just complain about the process. Not anything the village is doing here, but the fact that we have to place an order for a chassis in order to order the plow, which will then come sometime in the next 18 to 24 months, is a process that only exists because of cartels that control this industry and the fire truck industry. And if there were more competitors in this market space, I think we'd have a much easier purchasing process. So think about that when you vote on your national elections.
Rick?
I guess I just have a little bit of a comment. $160,000 for a truck. That's an amazing amount of money, but I'm guessing it's not going to get cheaper. So I'm understanding of the fact that if we need this vehicle, then we have the money. I support getting it now.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, we have a motion by Higgins, second by Peterson. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Item 9, new business items for discussion and possible action. A, Community Development Block Grant Disaster Recovery Funding Opportunity for 235 North Main Street.
I can take this one.
Oh, sorry.
Did try to lay it out here in the packet, but I can kind of give a Cliff Notes version because it is a little complicated. But we were approached by Dane County a couple of weeks ago with an opportunity to use some of the remaining CDBG, Community Development Block Grant, DR, Disaster Recovery, alphabet soup. Remaining funds, there's about $400,000 remaining related to the flooding events in the Cross Plains area in 2018. That has to be used to support capital infrastructure, so usually housing in the case of this grant, for low and moderate income folks. So North Point did receive some funds from the county for this, as well as Habitat, as we were mentioning earlier. There are obviously limitations on, again, what that those funds can be used for, and a deadline to spend the rest of the funds by the end of September of this year for any capital improvements to either build housing or have some improvements that would be directly supporting low and moderate income housing. So they were obviously aware of the North Point, North Main Street townhome project due to the funding they'd already received, and were made aware of the public park space that's just to the south there, and started chatting with North Point and reached out to us to see if there was any way that some of those funds could be used, since they are adjacent to that development, but still, village-owned park. What would an arrangement look like to be able to kind of weave through all the different federal requirements for this funding and still be able to keep the money in the community? It's not really enough time to give it to another housing development and kind of have all the timing line up. So we did have Lauren and Martin and I had a call with the county in North Point probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. The county had talked to the state and got some guidance on what different arrangements could look like and what would be acceptable to be able to have this funding. So what they proposed was that North Point, because their project is for low and moderate income housing, and the village ourselves would not qualify to receive that funding directly, that an arrangement with North Point and the village for some kind of land lease for, they said, about 15 years for the park, to kind of connect it to the North Point project, but then, we can turn around and have some sort of public access easement. Essentially, it'd be treated like any other public park and would function as any other public park. But that arrangement would allow these funds to come to North Point. They would manage all the grant reporting and things like that. They would manage the construction of whatever park improvements we would determine we wanted there. And obviously it's a short timeline, but depending on, how things line up and the extent of whatever park improvements we would want to see there, we think it's possible. So we wanted to bring this to you all to see what questions you have, see if they're interested in pursuing this. And we think probably the next best step would be engaging the neighborhood in a conversation about the opportunity, and then getting some initial feedback on, what types of park improvements they would be interested in. Right now, this park, I mentioned in here, it's in our CIP for a planning in 2028, and then a construction budget is, there's a placeholder in there for 2029. So this is obviously going to be a lot sooner. I don't know that it would necessarily mean that we couldn't make a further investment in the park at a later time. This could be potentially a phase 1. But, hasn't really been on our radar to do a project in this location in this short amount of time. I think having, North Point do that and working with them on public bidding and everything, but having them manage a lot of that rather than putting that on our departments would definitely be a big help. So wanted to get your all's feedback, and then if you're comfortable with us exploring this further with the neighbors, I would probably reach out to them with a letter, try to get a neighborhood meeting scheduled maybe later in January here, and then come back to the early February board meeting, or one of the February board meetings with an update and then kind of a proposed timeline to move forward. But we have let the county know by March they kind of need a go, no-go moment so they can start working on drafting grant agreements and things like that too. And then obviously if we are doing some kind of construction that needs to happen through spring and summer. So that's kind of the short story, but happy to answer any questions if we have any.
Okay, question for Elise? Tim?
So this, I think you said it, but this would be a public park, not a park for the residents of that development,
Correct. Yeah, the arrangement really just be in place so that North Point could receive the funding.
Right.
But yeah, their intent would be, it's a public park, and that's just adjacent to their.
Are there likely to be any parking issues then if people were coming there to use the park? That lot's pretty tight, right?
Yeah,
People who live there.
obviously the park, we haven't planned any improvements. There would probably be, if there is any, very minimal space for parking, but we have a lot of parks that don't have their own off-street parking there. Yeah, there is some guest parking, and I suppose that's one thing we'd have to talk about with North Point, if that's already kind of stressed. Maybe they're signing some of that to say, you know, North Point residents and guests only, but it's a pocket park. It's a smaller park, so it's intended to kind of serve people within walking distance.
Sure, sure. Well, I think this is a great use of funds, so, and it takes a lot of burden off the village too, right, in terms of managing the grant, because North Point would do it.
Correct. Yep, and they have a lot of experience doing that. They work with a third party to do all that reporting as well.
Marks and then McDaniel.
Just a question about, you were saying that obviously there'll be some administrative duties or planning that'll be done by the North Point, but I'm assuming that the Parks Department would still, or the Parks Committee would still have overall approval of whatever improvements that they would be doing there?
Yeah. Yeah, our plan is, we'll have Park Board next week as well, so I wanted to update them on this conversation tonight, but bring them up to speed, and then, yeah, North Point wouldn't be installing any park improvements that the village didn't approve, since it's our property, and wouldn't want to build anything that, you know, we weren't in support of.
I guess my only question is just on the process of this and where that neighborhood meeting lies. So if North Point bids for a park developer, sort of like we're doing in Gary Dish, right?
Mhm.
We've bid it out to an
Contractor,
yeah,
yeah.
thank
Mhm,
you.
mhm.
They took the neighborhood feedback in the Gary Dish situation so that they could immediately apply that feedback to their plan. Would the neighborhood meeting in this situation sort of be to us, and we would then funnel that to North Point to then funnel that to whoever they choose? Or is there a way that we're able to have whoever is sort of developing this park hear that feedback directly?
I think the initial conversation later this month, if that's the direction we go, would be, is the neighborhood in support of, you know, moving forward? We would have definitely a separate neighborhood meeting or meetings with focused about what do we want to have and what space do we have and things like that. I think we haven't fully mapped it out yet, but we would be again telling North Point, this is what we heard from the community, this is what we want to see. I think depending on the extent of, you know, if there's earthwork that needs to be done, or if there's, you know, a small parking lot that's going to be built, that's obviously going to be more of a lift versus, you know, we're just directly hiring a, you know, I don't know, a playground manufacturer to come in and just install a playground, or is there some work that Public Works is doing to prep the site or whatever it might be? There's not a ton of space between all of the trees and things. There's a lot of, you know, limitations on that space, but again, I think whether there's a landscape architect or something on board to actually design the park, or if it's just you know, the village kind of driving the design and whatever improvements we want to see. North Point's that's gonna be influenced by the neighbors, and that's gonna be communicated to North Point from the village, so. I don't think they're gonna go rogue and do something different, or if there's a specific piece of equipment that we want, or picnic tables or whatever, I think they would be asking us for, you know, what specifically do we want to have here.
Anybody else? Okay, I'll just read the recommended motion here. Direct staff to schedule a neighborhood meeting in late January 2026 and invite neighbors surrounding the park at 235 North Main Street to attend and provide feedback. Report back to Park Board and Village Board with an update in February of 2026. Motion by Tom and second by Amanda. Additional questions, comments? Hearing none. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Item 10, reports of village officers, department heads, and consultants. This is for information only. Village administrator report in your packet. And Director of Public Works report, water utility rate case status update. Do you have additional comments, Lauren, or?
No, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Seeing none. Item 11, announcements and miscellaneous business, items for discussion and/or possible action. A, announcements, comments, communications, upcoming meetings and events, and miscellaneous business. A, proclamation recognizing the Oregon Police Department for achieving re-accreditation through the Wisconsin Law Enforcement Accreditation Group. Congratulations to the chief and the rest of the department. 2 is proclamation recognizing Assistant Director Ann Stone for 13 years of dedicated service to the Oregon Senior Center. Ann is not here, but why not?
Yeah.
Please note the next regular village board meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, January 20th, 2026, due to the Martin Luther King Jr. Day holiday. Item 4, joint meeting with the Plan Commission and Village Board set for Thursday, February 5th, 2026, related to an amendment to the Village Comprehensive Plan in regards to the Hillcrest Bible Church annexation and expansion. Item 5 is a Public Service Commission public hearing scheduled for Tuesday, February 3rd, be there, 2026 at 3 p.m. related to the Oregon, proposed Village of Oregon water utility water rate increase. He'll be in Zoom if you choose to attend. Any announcements from staff or department heads? Chief.
Just to talk a little further about Wiley Ag accreditation. This is about a 6 to 8 month preparation. It's 262 standards that we have to meet. I won't bore you with all the nuances, but one of the questions I get is how do they identify what those standards are? These standards are established based off of lawsuits, other liability, where things have just gone wrong. These standards are built up, and ultimately it's, to really keep a police department functioning and at a high level. When we actually go through the on-site, 3 assessors will come in. They're not in any way connected to the Oregon Police Department. They're typically lieutenants, captains, or chiefs, and they are on site the entire time evaluating whether it's looking at our policy. But even with the 262 standards, we have to show policy that meets that standard, but then 3 years of proofs. So that could be a police report, officer video, physically inspecting something. So when I say they come through with a finely toothed comb, they come through. We are exhausted by the time they leave. And a little bit more background about Wiley Ag. I'm a strong believer in it based off of some of the challenges we've gone through in the past. I would never want to deviate from it. I started out as an assessor. I became a lead, so now I go to other departments and I am a lead in a team that assesses departments. I try not to pick any department smaller than ours because as we grow, I'd like to see what is underneath and how things are operating so that we can just hopefully very smoothly grow as our community grows and keep up with that. I'm also on the Wiley Ag board. I'm the secretary. I've been doing that for about 2 years now. I represent the Wisconsin Chiefs of Police Association. That board's interesting. It's not all law enforcement. It consists of a representative from the DA's office, various parts of chief organizations. It could be a smaller municipality. It could be the whole state. That's what I represent. There's a FBI representative, a DA representative, tech college representative, training and standards representative. So it's really nice because you're not just getting the police perspective on these standards and how they're developed. It's coming really holistically, and it's great. Right now we're trying to take on AI and what that looks like and how to best protect police departments from what AI can do damage. With our agency, Lieutenant Schaub, which you saw him here, he's our accreditation manager. He took the lead. I chose him specifically because the man is very detailed and very specific. You have to be because this is tiring, working on these things nonstop for 6 to 8 months. Rudy, our support services supervisor, and I come in and help support him, picking out different chapters to work on. I do more of the administrative chapters. Rudy does more of the records chapters, and then Chad handles more of the patrol. This is very important to how our department operates and how it operates successfully. If you guys have any questions now or even later, please don't hesitate to reach out. If you ever want to come to an onsite and see what it looks like, you're more than welcome to. They welcome that. The people that are involved in assessing another agency are excited about it because they're there to help. They're to make recommendations to help better that department. So happy to answer any questions. So.
Thank you, Chief. Comments, questions? Lynn?
The only comment I wanted to make was about the Wiley Egg proclamation as well. In only just to add a little context, which is that I believe in my recollection, while they were on site, either right before or during their on-site time, there was a pretty significant community situation. And so I think that really speaks to how this department just is sustainably operating at such a high level that something as disruptive as that situation didn't disrupt the process of this review, and it certainly could have. So,
yeah, and just to speak to a little bit, I could talk a little bit more about that. Just so briefly, that was a swatting call involving one of our schools. So yeah, it was all hands on deck until we knew for sure it was a swatting call. But yeah, I would agree. It moved smoothly. We were able to still keep them moving while we were out working with the school on that call. Thank you.
Anybody else?
And I'm sorry, one more thing to add.
Oh, yeah, please.
This year, we've certainly received positive comments in the past, but this year, we received the most positive comments. We've never received any negative comments, I'll say that. But whether it be phone calls or emails from community members, trustees, department heads, that really helps that team understand how well we're all working together to accomplish a mission. So I really do appreciate that. From all that sent those kind comments. And nothing negative was shared, so that's great as well.
Okay. Any other announcements or staff, department heads, village board members? No?
Future agenda items or?
Okay, yeah, well, we can go on to that, sure.
I
Right
wasn't sure
ahead,
where we
Tom.
were.
Go ahead.
Just in reading the minutes, I was reminded that in the discussion that we had in relationship to the renaming and the branding of the senior center, we had made a reference that we would refer it to the planning commission because we felt there was expertise there in relationship to image and view and some of the other aspects. It occurred to me after we have another committee that is very adept in artwork and appearance, and that we should also run that past the ad hoc committee. And I don't know if that needs to be on an agenda item or if we just note that as action. Ad hoc.
You have
Ad hoc.
future agenda
art,
item
ad
for
hoc.
that? or
Okay,
just,
okay.
not
Easy for you.
Just checking.
When in doubt, yes.
Yeah, I would say we're gonna have it on the next agenda, I believe, potentially. So I think it's probably good to have that on the board officially.
Okay, yep. Thank you. Anybody else, future agenda items? Okay. Item 12, business, items for discussion or possible action. A claim for damages submitted by Lisa Swetler regarding an injury to a dog occurring on or about September 20th, 2025. And I believe Candy has some comments.
Yeah, so let me hear. So Ms. Swettler sent me an email on November 26th of 2025 asking, or letting me know that her dog fell in a hole. At first, what we thought to be on a privately owned street, but we did later find out that it was on Alpine Parkway. And we did some internal discussions with Public Works and Lauren to see if we actually went out and investigated this said hole. And we did. And she was asked, on November 26th, Lisa was asking how her vet bills were going to be covered. Her dog apparently injured her leg. And apparently, after some conversations with Miss Sweatler, we tracked it down to September 20th, to be exact. So at that time, we decided to send this through our insurance company because the insurance company would then investigate if there was any liability on the village's behalf. And that process occurred, and the village's insurance company is suggesting that we disallow the claim because they feel the village does not have liability for this incident.
And I would just note on the insurance provider's recommendation, I think Amanda probably has memory of this, is that typically the village board will follow the recommendation of the insurance provider. Short of maybe perhaps a clarification from Candy, any discussion beyond that will require that we go into closed session. So is there a desire to discuss it further, or do we end it here? Appears to be no desire to continue. Okay, so then we will move to
Disallow.
Disallow. Do you want to?
Yes, I would like a motion, yep.
Okay, so we would entertain a motion to disallow the claim. Thank you.
Submitted by Lisa Sweatler.
Thank you. Peterson, motion. I will second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Item 13, adjournment. As our business is concluded, we are adjourned without objection. Thank you. And look